Howdy folks, welcome back. We're going to talk about Battlefield 5 and in particular the attrition system. This is what Battlefield is calling the ammo and medical system of when you spawn into a game, you have limited ammo and limited medical supplies. Now this has been creating all kinds of controversy on the internet, and I thought I would share my little opinion on this. You're either going to love this system or you're going to hate it. So let's go into it in a little bit more in detail. What is it exactly? Okay, so traditionally when you a Battlefield 5 game, okay, you have auto regen system where eventually you will get full health. In this Battlefield you won't. Traditionally in Battlefield games you also get a decent supply of ammo when you spawn into a round. In this game you don't. So how much do you actually get? Well, let's cover the ammo first. Currently in the open beta, so this is the early September beta I'm talking about. Currently for an SMG, let's say for example, you get one full magazine loaded and another magazine on your belt. So that's 64 rounds in total. Now with an SMG, that ain't a lot. Now if you was to spawn at a capture point or in your spawn zone, there are supply caches nearby where you can get another 32 rounds for the SMG, for example. I'm just going to use the SMG as an example here. Okay, so you get another magazine full of ammo. Is this the only way you can get ammo? No, of course it isn't. So the supply class can also provide you ammo. In the beta, there are no ammo chests that they can throw down. They can literally just throw you ammo packs, like in certain other games that we've seen. Certain other Battlefield games that you've seen. You can't take ammo off them like you can in Battlefield 1 and medical in Battlefield 1. You can't like non-cooperative sharing. That isn't in the game. Well, not in the beta at least. So that isn't a possibility. But a good supply person will keep feeding you ammo, possibly. Is that the only way? No, it isn't. If you kill enemies, they will also drop ammo packs. You'll see them on the floor littered around. Okay. Now, if you've shot the enemy, that doesn't mean that ammo pack is exclusively yours. Somebody else on your team can pick up that ammo and essentially steal it from you. Okay, so with the SMG, what is a fallen ammo pack worth? That was worth, in the beta that I noticed, was about 12 rounds. I think it varies from gun to gun. I don't know that for sure, I need to confirm it. So in summary, ammo, how do you get it? You spawn in with 64 rounds total. You get another 32 from supply caches at objectives and in your main spawn area. You can pick it up from fallen enemies and you get it from supply guys. This is not too bad in my opinion. So let's move on to medical. The medical side of life is where I love to play Battlefield. I always like to play as the medic, so this is where I was really interested to see what was going on. It's a little bit more complicated to a degree, and also in a way a little bit more simplified. I say simplified in as much as there's no auto regen, you know, so there's a simplification straight away. You take damage, you don't get auto regen, but that's not strictly true. If you do wait a fair while, you will get some auto regen. I think it's in the region of about 30 points. Okay, so you will get auto regen eventually, but it's not worth a great deal of beans. So how do you get your health back? Right, along with ammo caches, there's also health caches. Again, they're at the objectives and at your main spawn points. Now, why would they be at the main spawn points? Are you thinking? Well, in this Battlefield, this is where, again, it gets a little bit more complicated. So they've simplified it in one area and more complicated in another. Is everybody, including the medic, can hold a medic pouch. A spare one. So let's just say you've spawned in, you're at full 100% health, you can go to a medical supply cache, take an extra health pack and just store that on your person. When you take damage, you'll get a little indicator on the screen to say press whatever button it is, whether it's PC, PS4 or Xbox, whatever, and then you can administer yourself some first aid, and that first aid will rapidly take you back up to 100% health. Once that's gone though, it's gone. You need to resupply that extra health pack. So it's for, oh, we'll get into that in a moment. How else can you get this? Well, of course, the medic can supply everybody health packs. What about when you get killed? This, again, is very interesting for me. The medic can revive anybody on the field of battle. Anybody in your team. They don't have to be squad members. Anybody in your team. So far, so Battlefield. Not a problem there. What about anybody else though? So if you're playing supply, assault, well, they can now revive, but only squad mates. If it's a squad mate, you can be revived. Okay, the animation takes a little bit longer, but they can revive it. It doesn't take too long. It's probably about 5 seconds, something like that. But if the area is clear, then squad mates can revive other squad mates. They don't have to be medics. So again, that's a help, not a hindrance. This is all ways of keeping you and your squad in the battlefield. So how does this play out in the actual game? You might be wondering. And you've certainly, if you're watching this, you may have already played it, and you may already have some opinions of it yourself. Now, my opinions are this, that DICE have made a conscious decision, and they've been trying to do this over, I would say, every Battlefield since Battlefield 2. How do you increase squad play and reduce lone wolfing? How do you reduce that? I feel like a lot of Battlefields in the past have only been using squads, players have only been using squads as mobile spawn points rather than wanting to play as a squad. Now, what does play as a squad actually mean? To play as a squad is what we're actually talking about there, is working together to push an objective or to defend an objective, using each other's skills and attributes. Can we all say, hand on heart, that all the other Battlefields have really managed to pull this off? There's only one instance that I can ever think that happens, and that is when you're playing competitively in a clan. When you're playing a competitive game in a clan and it's organised and you're all taking it seriously. If you're not, and you're just playing sort of regular, you know, if you want to call it that. I'm avoiding the word casual because I'll be using it later. But if you want to just play it regular, then I can honestly say, hand on heart, that the squad system has not encouraged squad play. It's just encouraged mobile spawn points. That's my opinion. So I think DICE have made this conscious decision, and you've seen it in every Battlefield where they've tried various methods and techniques to encourage squad play, and they've failed, basically. Gamers find a workaround of not doing it. But this is an attempt to force you to stick with your squad. If you want to stay alive, if you want to have your KD and your kill streaks going, then you need to stay with your squad, because you've got more chance of being revived, you've got more chance of taking ammo, you've got more chance of playing for the objective where there's going to be ammo and health caches. If you're wanting to go lone wolf and start flanking on your own, the chances are you may die often or run out of ammo, because there's no one there to resupply you, and you ain't playing the objective. So that is the reason I believe DICE have done this. Okay, I'm not supporting or denying it yet. I'm just saying that is the reason why they've done it. The Battlefield veterans amongst you, and I've been playing Battle since the very first one when it came out, when the internet was so bobbins it couldn't really support the concept. You know, I don't think Battlefield really got going until Battlefield 2, in my opinion. But Battlefield always tried to separate itself from Medal of Honor back in the day. Medal of Honor, the early days of Call of Duty. It tried to bring a new first-person shooter set on large-scale battles. The gameplay was slow because there was tanks, there was vehicles. You know, infantry combat was slow infantry combat. The maps are huge. Over the series of Battlefield, and I would say when they started introducing them to console, I ain't bagging on console because I play Battlefield on all consoles. Xbox, PS4 and PC. So, but when they introduced them to consoles at the sort of Battlefield Bad Company stage, all of a sudden Battlefield Bad Company 2 came out on console. It exploded Battlefield to a huge new market. It was really for me, one of the best Battlefield games. It was a slightly smaller maps, slightly higher action, higher fast paced, slightly, but still truly good Battlefield. Then Battlefield 3 came out, all new engine, fantastic graphics. I mean, it was superb. Again, things started to get a little bit faster paced. I would still say, you know, on a par with Bad Company 2, but just a little bit faster maybe. Particularly with the DLC of the Close Quarters Combat map. Now this is all very important because why did DICE do this? Because they were going for the Call of Duty juggler. The ban wave, the anti-wave of Call of Duty fanbase started to appear. COD noobs, COD kiddies, all this lot and all that lot. And all of a sudden, Battlefield was the trendy game to be into. This is the one for the grown-ups, you know. Let's forget Armour for a minute, which is the true game for grown-ups. But, you know, all of a sudden the internet was like, no, we're over COD. Don't like all that jumping futuristic shit. This is the game for us. So Battlefield went for their jugular. DICE went for the jugular. And for me, they started to go, when they introduced Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, which granted was visceral and not DICE. Battlefield 1. They went for high octane, high action, fast paced action. That is not Battlefield. That is not what we want. That is not what the original Battlefielders made Battlefield its reputation from. Do you see what I mean? And I think DICE have looked at that and gone, do you know what? We've positioned ourselves too far now. We need to just bring it back a bit, introduce squad play a bit, introduce those Battlefield, you know, moments rather than just running around in circles capturing flags like Battlefield 1. It's chase the flag. Let's have battles in between. Let's have, you know, real offensive, defensive battles where you're not just running from one to the other. That I think still happens in Battlefield 5, but not as much because of the attrition system. It slowed the game down. It slowed the game down and it's put an emphasis on squad play. So, we might be in a position at the moment right now to say to ourselves, listening to my opinions on this, is, well, surely this is a good thing, right? Well, the internet doesn't think so. The internet, I would say, is 50-50 split on this. I don't know, maybe it's a lot of the people I talk to actually think are preferring this method. But when I first booted up the beta, I was like, oh no. And I come from the old school of the Battlefield games, but it's because it's changed. I'm not used to it anymore. I'm not used to adapting my gameplay to this slower pace of game when I've got to think about how much ammo am I going to expend on a shot to nothing opportunity. Do I really want to waste my ammo on an SMG shot from 200 yards? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's making me think. That's the key. It's making me think now. Where do I want to start engaging from? My health is now important. Not if you're playing as a medic, granted. But, you know, if you're playing as any other class, your health becomes a factor. You don't want to just be rushing across open spaces. You need to start thinking. This is what this new attrition system has brought to the table. But it's forcing a gameplay style on people. And I think that, coupled with change management, which is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you introduce change, and if it's too dramatic, people will resist it. They don't like change. As much as gamers go, it's just like the old game, it's a reskin. It's not changing enough. They'll moan about it. it changes too much, like Call of Duty, they'll moan about it a bit more. Do you know what I mean? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, but it's change management. And the way you combat change management is you stick to your guns. You say, look, this is a concept that we feel strongly about. Get used to it, and then you'll see the benefit. And I think, and this is where I put my cards on the table, this is where I'm sat with this game. I actually think that this game, that the decisions made to slow this game down, to force gamers to play more as a squad in a Battlefield game, which is what it was always meant to be, a squad-based tactical shooter, not a fast-paced arcade shooter. It was never meant to be that. It's meant to be accessible and fun, yes. That doesn't make it arcadey and casual. And for me, it's gone way too arcadey and way too casual in previous Battlefields. I still find them fun. I still play Battlefield 1 now. You know, I don't have anything against. I love all Battlefield games if I'm honest with you, but some are better than others. And this one is better than others because DICE have made a decision to make squad play the feature. Now, it's up to you now to decide whether you can get on board with that. Now, I can definitely get on board with this. I think for me, this creates a significant change. I didn't want Battlefield 5 to be a reskin, a World War II reskin of Battlefield 1. I didn't want that. Because because why? Why change? I might as well keep playing Battlefield 1. I don't want to play another $60 or whatever for the new Battlefield, only to be playing new maps. You know, I mean, how many times have games been slated for that? You know, it's just an expansion pass and playing, you know, blah, 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 blah. Especially as this game doesn't even have a single player. Okay? So, the attrition system, or the health and ammo system, or whatever you want to call it, guys, embrace it, is my advice. If you're getting stuck with randoms in squads who aren't playing the way the game should be played, you need to find some friends who want to play the game, who, you know, join Reddit, join a platoon. There's going to be plenty out there of clans that are going to want to play this game the way it's meant to be played. So once you do that, I think you won't ever look back. I really don't. I think you will not look back. Now, this is early comments from still a beta. In early September, it's not due out till end of November, November the 20th to be precise. This game may still change. They may change the attrition system due to the outcry. I hope they do not. I really do. That is not what we want. Stick to your guns, DICE. Have faith in change management. And let people get used to this new system. And let people start enjoying the thrill of being in a clan. Or being in a platoon that's working together. Because that takes all Battlefield games to whole new levels. But it's nothing been there to encourage them to do that before now. This is the way. That's my thoughts on it, guys. I'm really keen on listening to yours. Post them in the comments. Give thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, it's okay. I can take the heat. Don't worry about me on this one. But that is my thoughts on the attrition system. I think I've covered all the points that I wanted to make. There's lots more to say about this game, of course. But that'll be in other videos. Okay, guys, so thanks for that. Don't worry about upsetting me in those comments if you really vehemently disagree with what I'm saying. That's okay too. Okay, guys, laters.